Welcome, dear sisters. Welcome, dear brothers. To this gathering on the feast day of the conversion of Saint Paul. I feel guided to explore this conversion experience together. To tune in to the essence, the experience, the transformation, the rebirth, that unfolded on this fateful day, in this fateful experience, that indeed was to have a monumental effect on the course of humanity. As a brother, Saul of Tarsus, walked along his path in full-blown conviction in his persecution of the followers of Christ. On his mission to persecute, to eradicate, to even kill the followers of Christ. On this road to Damascus. Tune in, sense, how it is possible for one to be so convinced in their version of reality that they would see it as a service to the world. To extinguish, to persecute, to eradicate. Those who follow a different path, who view through a different lens, perspective, who experience a different reality. And tune in to that moment when this path, this mission comes to its fateful end. where this world view, as held by Saul of Tarsus, came to a dead end. In that moment, where the essence of Christ intervened, where Saul was stopped in his tracks, allowed to walk no further, and was blinded, struck down, immobilized by the light of Christ. And not only was he immobilized, struck down, stopped in his tracks, he was indeed challenged directly. Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? And what must have been Saul's experience in that moment, where everything he believed, perceived, had seen, experienced up until now, was dissolved in a flash of light. Where he had no idea what was happening. But could only abruptly come to the realization that something divine was taking place. Something beyond all previous perceptions, beliefs, capacity. How he incredulously asked, "Who is this? Is this you, Lord?" To which he received the response, "I am the Christ that you have been persecuting." Now get up and walk into the city, where you will be told what to do next. And tune in and sense how Saul, how Paul gathered himself, his accompanying entourage picked him up still dizzy, taken aback, in wonder at what had just transpired. And as Paul opened his eyes, or tried to open his eyes, he realized he could not see. He was blind. As he made his way, accompanied by his entourage, his fellow travelers, to the city, as instructed. Where he remained, blind, where he fasted, could not eat or drink for days. As he processed and integrated this transformational event, this rebirthing experience, this recognition of how his path up until that fateful moment had been a path into darkness, as he realized, integrated this new revelation, this experience of more, of further dimensions previously unavailable to him. And after days, how through a further act, a gift of Christ, a brother was sent to heal his blindness. As the scales fell from his eyes, as he for the first time perceived this world through the lens of Christ consciousness, with the eyes of Christ. And how he continued to be that one who preached, who taught, who built up these tiny churches, these groups of those following, tuning into, awakening, nourishing, embodying living, breathing, the essence of Christ consciousness. In the various cities and towns to which he traveled, and for you, dear sisters, dear brothers, it may be helpful to know, to realize, to remember how small these groups were in the beginning. Sometimes just a handful. But even in their peak, the core groups of these gatherings, of these followings, to which he wrote his letters, were often no more than 40 people. "40 followers who recognized, who saw through the eyes of Christ, who dedicated their life to the awakening, the nourishing, the embodiment of this essence within them, as you do now in this group, in your other practices, in all that you do, as you practice the awakening, the nourishing, the embodiment, the living, breathing, walking, as the essence of Christ that you are, just as your brother Saul, Paul, did before you. Can you sense how, in many ways, Paul's path is not very unlike your own? On a metaphorical level, so to speak. Can you remember a time where you were walking a path that was leading you away from the essence of Christ, from your divine nature? Can you remember a path, a series of decisions, of choices, where you were the one persecuting the essence of Christ within you? Where you were the one blocking the light, blocking the love, the transformative power of Christ, through your conviction, your belief in a path that in truth was leading you away from your divine nature. Indeed, if you are anything like your brother, you will recognize how, even now in your recent days and weeks, how you allow a series of choices, of decisions to distract you. How you allow the busyness, the distractions, the disturbances in your world to hijack your connection with your divine nature. And can you then also remember, recognize, tune into that conversion moment where you realize where you are stopped in your tracks, and recognize that you may choose again to align yourself with the love and light of Christ. And how you may choose to recognize how you have been walking with scales in your eyes, blind to the truth of your divine nature, so to speak. And can you recognize how, like your brother Paul, like Saul of Tarsus, it is indeed necessary to recognize your own blindness, your inability to see in some situations, and also to remember your power to be, to sit, to rest in this blindness, and to trust that the essence of Christ will once again fill your eyes with light. Will once again allow you to see with the eyes of Christ. And that as you then, transformed, reborn, walk forward, filled with light and love, that Christ consciousness blossoms through you, shines through you, radiates out through you. You become that one who in your own way, individual and personalized by the Christ that you are, by the individual expression of Christ that you are, you move forward through your world, teaching, embodying, radiating, the love and light of your divine nature, of the essence of Christ. To those groups of people who resonate with you, who are touched by your gentle, warm, Christed nature, who are touched by the warmth of your loving compassion. Who are touched by your radiance, your grace, your capacity to be that one. Who recognizes, remembers, who owns the embodiment of Christ that they are. So on this feast day, my dear sisters, my dear brothers, on this feast day of the conversion of St. Paul, remember your conversion. Your conversions. Remember your capacity to move through your life as that one who spreads the word, the teachings, the love, the light of Christ. Just as your brother has.